Hey, you and I both, brother.
Here we
You
go.
and I, you and I both, brother.
What it do? What it do? What it do? Good people coming to you live from Taz TV 410. I'm your host, Taz Dean. Now, people, we got a special one here for y'all. I mean, we talk about Dunbar, and sometimes we just start from mugs and it. Well, we gotta bring it back a little bit, people. We gotta bring it back. I like to talk about the foundation because Dunbar was that before mugs and them. And King, can you speak your name?
My name is Dwayne Hot Dog Wallace.
Yes. Listen, I'm humble and I'm thankful for you joining the platform. I appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure Baltimore gonna appreciate it also.
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to have you on for you to have me on your show.
Man, now listen here, Dwayne, because I learned I done learned a lot. I done learned a lot about you within these last 2 weeks. Right
Hmm.
now, and what I say, I want to start from your family because you come from a rich line of athletes. Can we start there?
Well, let's see. I'm one of 11 kids, 9 boys and 2 girls. My two younger brothers, Keith and Carl Wallace, played with the national championship team with Mugs in them.
Mhm.
And my older brother was a Dunbar alumni. He was on the track team. And I also had another brother who was the first Black African American with the Board of Fire Commissioners. However, he went to City. So, it's definitely a rich tradition in terms of in my household as far as athleticism.
Now, where you from?
I'm actually from East Baltimore. I grew up on 21st and Guilford.
Mhm.
My first stint of playing basketball probably was the age of 8 when my brother Stevie, who's definitely was a pure shooter, took me down to Cecil.
Okay.
And I played for Cecil 13 under. We was the first 13 under when 13 under first started, I believe. We
Hmm.
was the first one that won the championship down at Civic Center.
Ooh. Now that's something because y'all used to play down the Civic Center. Now,
Yes.
now, if you could go back, if you could go back to those times because you had what the Lafayette's, you had the Madisons. Uh, can you remember those battles?
Oh man, can I remember them? Oh man, that was definitely a battle because it was everybody from East Baltimore, of course,
Hmm.
and we were considered up the hill. They were considered down the hill.
Right.
And I played for Madison 15. Well, actually, I played with Cecil for 1 year.
Okay.
I left Cecil and went down to Madison. I played 15 under for I was 13, 14, and 15.
Okay.
And all 3 years we beat Lafayette for the
Yeah.
championship. And to get to the championship. However, they was some great teams. I mean, it was just a battle. And during the BNBL era. And I could say this, and I was just thinking about that overnight, that during that era, the gyms used to be packed,
Hmm.
because everybody wanted to see a good game and this, that, and the other. And I was always considered a big guard because I played the point,
Yeah.
and I was what 6 feet 6'2", and everybody else was a little shorter than myself. But we always had a good team.
Mhm.
Our team was basically stacked up from Lake Clifton and Dunbar. Some of the
Right.
kids went to Dunbar, but like I said, I didn't get the city until Dunbar until my senior year.
Yeah. Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. What middle school you went to first? Let's
I
get
went I went to Lombard.
with the Lombard.
I went to Lombard, and my next move was to go to Dunbar because I applied for it. But during that time, Dunbar went to the 10th grade.
Okay.
And so my next choice was Lake Clifton. I played at Lake Clifton for my freshman year, and we beat Dunbar for the JV for the championship. And then here comes the zone, which was in 74, 75.
Okay.
And so where I lived there at the time, which was in Wilson Park. I'm sorry, Govins, because we had moved from that area, 21st and Guilford. And so we moved there, and I had to go to City. So I went to City for 2 years. In fact, people don't know this, that I was on the Hall of Fame at City, but when Mr. Parker found out I transferred to Dunbar, it took me off.
Oh man. Oh man. Now listen. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about when you went. Let's talk about Up City because you did the same thing at City that you did at down Dunbar, right?
Hmm.
So let's tell the people, let's get the people to experience you playing up city, and you playing against the Dunbars, the Lake Cliftons. Tell the people about that. The different, because I want to go with the different atmosphere when you get from city to Dunbar. Like, but I want let's talk about the city team and y'all
Well,
accomplishments.
I mean, up at City, of course, I was averaging, some good numbers in my sophomore year, and we had a pretty good team. But we could never beat, the Dunbars and the Lake Cliftons and stuff. But we never played Lake Clifton, I don't believe, when I got to City. But we never could beat Dunbar. So my junior year, I can remember, and I was joke with my brother about it, that they came up to the castle, because that's what we used to call it, the castle.
Still
And
to this day.
right, and we played in this little box gym.
Mm-hmm.
Not like they have it now, but it was a box gym, had stands on one side and a wall on the other side, and we beat them.
Mm.
And it was just like, really, really hyped and everything. And so we got over Morgan to play them. Of course, that was a different story.
Now,
but
my fault. Go ahead. Continue.
but the thing is that I can say that when I was at these other schools, Lake Clifton and City, I can say that I beat Dunbar, the team I was on.
Yeah. Now, people, Dwayne ain't gonna listen. Dwayne, he gonna be a little modest about himself, right? He wasn't just no regular player. And what I mean by that is he made the all metros. He got respect from his peers, and he played. Tell the people about the neighborhood, the traveling, to go to court in the summertime, playing against each other. Can you tell the people before we get to Dunbar?
Well, you know what, back then, it wasn't as crazy as it is now. I mean, we can go anywhere, east side, west side, South Baltimore, whatever case may be, and play, because, I mean, we had that respect, and we respected the guys that we played against. And it was always a battle, especially when we played against Johnny and Howard. Johnny and Howard was a team that had the Leslie brothers. They had Dr. Andre Bunley. They had Ricky Lawson. They had Smitty. Left hand Smitty. They had George Powell. I mean, they had a really good team. And so when we would play them, especially during the BNBL era, we would play them over at Lake Clifton. I mean, I'm talking about wall to wall people. It was like more that you can bear.
Yeah.
The fire marshal probably would have shut us down during that time. But it was just some completely bad. And in fact, Tony Guy played with that team too.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it was, but we had a pretty good team too. We had guys like myself, James Joyce. We had Lance Hill. We had Boo Mayo, who was 6'9", like 260. We had Michael Sharp. We had a Kevin Brisbane. I could go on and on and on. We had a pretty good team too. So it was just a epic battle when we played against these guys, because we knew that we had to come with our A game.
Yeah. Now, people. Now I gotta ask you the question. How you end up transferring from City to go down Dunbar? How did that conversation how that happen?
Well, as I said before, the thing was that I've always wanted to go to Dunbar, because that was my choice from, leaving from Lombard. And my brother, we used to talk about all the time about, it would be nice for me and him to play with each other instead of against each other. And so somehow that it didn't materialize. So my best friend, who was at City at the time, James Joyce, right? He was my best friend. Plus, we was on the same team, because we got to remember, we played against him. I played against him at 13 nothing when we beat Madison, and we were friends then. And so when I joined the Madison team, we became even more better friends. And so he transferred. I didn't know he was a transfer, because I had gotten a summer job over at Loyola. My coach had got me a summer job. And I thought that, coming back next year, we was going to be a really, really good team. So I found out that summer he transferred. Okay. And so because we were so close, I was like, you know what? I'm coming at it with you too. So the rest is history. I mean, it was something that, we were just good friends. And I wanted to, be, part of that tradition, and give an opportunity to be able to explore, bigger and better things. Because at that time, if you went to Dunbar, I don't care if you was the last man on the bench, you would get a scholarship.
Right.
And that's the way it was. although I found out years later that Pitt was recruiting me ever since I was a sophomore at City.
Wow.
Right. I
Wow.
didn't find this out until I found the card. Because, of course, coaches can't talk to you while underclassmen.
Right. They just
And I
send the
found,
questionnaires and stuff
right,
like that.
right. And I found this card that had Bob Hill, who used to coach the Indiana Pacers after he left Pitt, was recruiting me. In fact, Pitt was recruiting not only myself, it was recruiting Tony Guy too.
Mm.
But he chose to go to Kansas because we went on a recruiting trip, Tony Guy and myself.
Hold on. We can get the Pitt. We can get the Pitt because we still gotta get the Dunbar. We had Dunbar.
Okay.
We
So,
Pitt.
okay. So, like I said, I always wanted to be a poet, bled the colors, I enjoyed watching the games. In fact, what really led me to not only just my brother, but you had the Skip Wise, you had the Donnie Joys, you had Timmy Green. I watched them guys play when I was playing 15 under, I was playing 18 under.
Okay.
And I used to watch them guys play, and I knew that Dunbar had, I like the uniforms.
Yeah.
And we were the first, and in fact, they were the first team that ever had a shoe contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Beta.
Yeah.
At the time. They were like, white with the gold strip or white with the burgundy strip.
Man, full pride. Now
Yeah.
you down.
Wait a minute. I just learned that you went to Dunbar too.
Yeah, full pride is what I said. Full pride.
Right. Exactly.
Now, and that's why I'm asking this. That's why I'm asking you what's the difference, how you felt about, because I transferred too. I was the person that transferred from Maryville my freshman year down to Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole atmosphere was like night and day. And I love my guys up Maryville, but the atmosphere down with Dunbar was more so like a family. We was more so like a family. Even though we get mad at each other, you already know how I go. However, it was a different type of camaraderie down Dunbar than when I was at Maryville. So I'm asking you, did you feel, what was the change you felt once you got to Dunbar? I'm talking about off the court first.
It was a support, the alumni support, the faculty. Obviously, Mr. Wade, made you feel like that you were welcome,
Right.
because at the time, most of the players who played at Dunbar was pretty much from the Lafayette projects.
Okay.
On that surrounding area.
Right.
And I didn't think I was an outsider because, in fact, I used to go down to Lafayette Project, hang out down there,
Okay.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and play ball. So it was a little slight transition, but it was about adjustments.
Right.
And I think that I adjusted really, really well. I think that my teammates accepted me and I accepted them, and we just went on the road.
Now you made first team all Metro your senior year. You know what I'm saying? So the adjustment that you made was quick. Can you go back your first week of practice down Dunbar? Now, yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about it. Was you nervous? Because you're gonna have to strap him up. Everybody, majority, well, once you get down to the team, it's gonna be a battle. I ain't talking about the people that's trying out and nothing like that. When the team was assembled, let's talk about those battles in practice.
I mean, it was an epic battle. I always tell people this, right? And I love these guys, love Muggsy, but Kosher, man, he was probably the only one that I can think of that really gave me a hard way to go because he was low to the ground. He played really good defense. Was a scrappy ball player. Excuse me, and so was Duke. You know what I'm saying? So it was always a battle in the practices. So I hear people. I was talking about listening to Russ the other day on the podcast, and he was saying how they battled in practice, and so when the game came, it was much easier because we didn't have to beat up on each other. We can beat up on our opponents.
Right.
Like the practice was brutal at times, and but we was well coached. We were well coached, and so the thing is that when we played other teams, it was no problem because we were beating teams 100 and something to whatever.
Yeah.
So it was just something that, that Dunbar pride. I mean, when you put that jersey on, people want to, you're a target.
Yeah.
And that was Mr. Wade always told us that, hey, when you put this jersey on, you're going to be a target. So you just be mindful that when you go out there, you can't be just jobbing around. You got to go out there and play because people want to beat you.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get people best shot. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
absolutely.
And then if they
Absolutely.
beat you, they gonna talk about it. People still talk about my losses today. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you heard me say about when I was at City, we beat Dunbar, right?
Yeah, see? You know what I'm saying?
So I know that that what I just elaborated on, because when I was at other schools, I knew when we played Dunbar, we had to bring our best game. And so, and doing so, we had to strap it up, and but me and my brother had this little pact, right? When we played them, I would say, well, look, I'm gonna play this person and you're gonna play this person. So I'm gonna get mine, you get yours. But people, the crazy part about it, my coach at the time, Jane Parker, God rest his soul, he didn't know we were brothers until someone told him.
Wow.
And he said, well, okay, I tell you what, you're going to play your brother. I said, oh my God. And he was like, he had a 44-inch vertical jump that could shoot the ball out, coming across half court.
Woo. Oh,
yeah, that's how, yeah, he definitely had that range.
Now you down Dunbar, right? You make all Metro, y'all winning. Do you remember the games where y'all played the guys over there in DC?
Yes, we played in, I think it was called it wasn't called the Al Hammer. It was something called in DC. It was a tournament. And we played Spin Garn. And that's the game I got hurt in.
Yeah.
I was trying to go up for a dunk, but the guy undercut me. And so, I got hurt. And the thing is that
hold on, that story right there. That was the story where Coach Wade took y'all. Y'all ain't finished that tournament, right? Because
we finished it. We finished it. Yeah, we finished it. We completed it.
Was this the same one? You had got hurt, and it was about the medical insurance. They wanted them to put, they said they wasn't insuring or something.
Right. So having said that, right, and I really didn't know this at the time. When I got hurt, my teeth got knocked out, and Daryl Wade would tell you the story all the time that he had to go in because Daryl Wade was about maybe eight years old or so, because he used to travel with us all the time. And he would tell people that I used to went on the bleachers to get my teeth and put it in some water, and I took it to the hospital to put it back in, and I played the next game.
Baltimore.
Played the next game. You know what I'm saying? I had a wire on my mouth, and I played the next game because, like I said, they were my teammates, and I didn't want to let them down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so subsequently, the hospital didn't want to pay the insurance. The tournament didn't want to pay the insurance.
Right.
So what I found out was, and I can say this now, that my assistant coach, who happens to be at the game, right, made a few phone calls, and my assistant coach, who's when I was at Pitt, Cleveland Edwards, he just passed away a couple of years ago. He made a phone call, and I was able to get the surgery done and all that stuff.
Oh, that was love. That was love. Yeah. Look, they really wanted you.
Yeah. And I didn't even know who did it, but it didn't care at the time because I wanted my teeth back in my mouth.
Now, did you? Since Pitt was on you since your 10th grade year, did you attend 5-star?
I did not. I attended a camp up in Pittsburgh, I believe my junior year.
Okay.
And they had a lot of guys up there from Pittsburgh, from Ohio. I don't think it was a 5-star camp, but it was a really, and I love the camp because it takes you to different stations.
Okay.
Fundamental stations. And so, they flew me in, I stayed with, I don't know if you probably remember a guy named Billy Knight played in the ABA, ended up playing with the Indiana Pacers.
Billy Knight.
Right. I stayed with his brother, Terry Knight, who was my teammate at the time. And, but yeah, it was myself and Tony Guy at the camp.
Now, was Pittsburgh, your only school you was looking at, or was it any other schools?
Well, no, I'll tell you a real funny story this time. I was recruited by a lot of schools, Syracuse, Northline A&T, Elizabeth City, Of course, there's local schools here,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas State, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go to Missouri. Like I said, I wanted to follow my brother because he was my big brother.
Right.
And so we talked about it and everything. And I wanted to go somewhere where I could make a name for myself
Okay.
and help build a program who, really wasn't a basketball program. Because if back there in the early 70s, Pitt was known for football, which they still are.
Right.
The Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dan Marinos and stuff like that. So, I wanted to go somewhere where I could build a name for myself and also, try to catapult our university to a bigger and better conference, which they eventually they did.
Yeah.
By joining the Big East.
Now, let's talk about Pitt. Your freshman year. What was you thinking coming into your freshman year in college?
Well, the first thing I thought was, okay, you know what? I'm a high school All-American, all met from Baltimore. I got the swag. I'm gonna go to Pitt. I'm gonna be the starting point guard, this, that, and the other. And but unbeknownst to me, when I got there, I was like, oh, it's a culture shock because I tell you, the thing was, I had two seniors in front of me.
Okay.
And one was Pete Strickland, who went to DeMatha, and it was another guy named Wayne Williams who went to Shinley, which was a big time school in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And so a lot of young kids don't understand that, when you go to a school or university or whatever case may be, you have to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very patient. But more importantly, you have to know the system.
Yeah.
I remember one time, because I've always had the flash between the legs, behind the back, and this, that, and the other, right? So one day in practice, I was, I was getting it in, shake and bake, all that stuff, right? My coach blew the whistle. He said, son, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? He says, we don't do this here. We do the thumbs down, stuff like that, right? And I'm like, yeah. All the fundamentals, right? And I'm not saying that I didn't get fundamentals from Mr. Wade or William Wells, but it was more of more fundamentals that I had to do because now you're in a bigger stage.
Yeah.
And you have to make the right decisions. So out of probably 30 games, I probably played about 17.
Okay. That's still good. That was good.
Well, you know what? If you, I feel like that I'm a All-American. I should be playing every game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never thought that I shouldn't be playing, even when I didn't play. So I got a little discouraged. And I thought about coming home, just saying, forget about it, this, that, and the other. But like I said, I have, older brothers. I had, Mr. Wade. I had William Wells telling me, look, son, it's an adjustment period. You got to wait your turn. Your turn is going to come. And so my sophomore year, everything just took off for me.
Now, talk to the people about. See, I'm trying to pull it out on y'all because, like I said, he put it down on every level that he played, including Pitt. Now, if y'all ever get a chance, go on YouTube. Is the Pittsburgh Duquesne? Is it Super 8 game?
No, it's called the Eastern 8 Championship.
Eastern 8 Championship. Y'all go check that. Go check it out, and y'all can see him in action. I'm talking about he dropping it off. They ain't taking it from him. You know what I mean? Like y'all just go check the game. Just go check the game out. So let's talk about the sophomore year. You come back for your sophomore year campaign. Your confidence, I know your confidence was high.
Well, you know what? And I had a point to prove. I had a point to prove that not only to, the fans, but to my coaching staff that I could be the everyday starter.
Okay.
And it was but I had to learn how to run a team. Even though I had point guard experience, because I was told early on as I was coming up that I was going to be a point guard,
okay.
And that was by, some like, Steve Smith, his brother, Tony Smith, Lou Smith, that was his brother who coached me at Johnson Square and BNBL when I was playing 18 under at one time. And everybody kept telling me you're going to be a point guard. I'm like, man, I want to score.
Right.
I wanted to be able to score and then pass it off. But when I got to Pitt, I had to, I realized that I had to make an adjustment as well. The same adjustment I made when I went to Dunbar, I had to make another adjustment when I went to Pitt because I wasn't the focal point. We had other guys around me that could score too.
Right.
So, with that being said, somebody had to share the ball. and
Right.
I would, pick and choose the shots that I take. But my numbers were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we played an NIT.
Mm-hmm.
We played against our arch rival Duquesne, and I
Mm-hmm.
never forget this. And I'm not embarrassed to say this. Is that's why it's always good for you young kids that are listening is to work on your game, especially free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Because free throws can win a game or can lose a game. And so it's like 16,000 people in the Civic Arena, which is in Pittsburgh. We're playing Duquesne to go to the next round of the NIT,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a 1-on-1,
Mm-hmm.
and I missed it. I missed it. So after the game, it was just devastating for me.
Right.
So the next day, I got into the gym and I was shooting like at least 2, 3, 400 free throws, a contest. And so, that's how my free throw shooting became better because I remembered that game. And I remember like it was yesterday till this day.
Yeah. One thing about sports players, period. You remember your you remember when you failed. You remember more than you remember more your failures than you do your accomplishments for real. Like. So I definitely get it. And you saying you had to make the transition to now it ain't about me just scoring. I gotta learn how to run this team.
Right.
What was the coach saying to you though? What was the coach saying to you that sophomore year? Like, listen, we need you, Blase Blah. He can score. Make sure you get them, and you make sure you get everybody else involved. Then you go in and score, and then you go in and shoot. Or was it like just make sure your team involved, and then you just get it whenever you get it? How was it?
Right. One thing I learned that when you have a dominant guy like Sam Clancy that you're playing with,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to feed him the ball to keep him happy. Because if you feed your big man, keep him happy, he'll run up down the court and get the rebounds. He'll block the shots. He'll do everything for you because you're feeding him the ball. Now he knows you're looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as a point guard, you have to get everybody involved. Yeah, you can get your shots in, but the thing is, right, you got to be able to, be a point guard that can pass first, shoot second.
Right.
Get everybody involved, get everybody happy, and you're the leader of the team. So you have to be a leader. I think that's one of the things that I realized. I've always been a leader, but in terms of playing that position, it was more demanding because now the focal point, because you're the one with the ball.
Right.
And everybody's watching you. What you gonna do?
Man. Now let's your sophomore year in conference, your conference. What players? Give me some players that you like. Oh, I got to strap it up.
We played against Villanova because Villanova was in our league.
Mm-hmm.
Villanova, Rutgers, Penn State, of course Duquesne, which was our arch rival because we were like maybe 10 minutes away from Duquesne because Duquesne was downtown Pittsburgh, and we were in Oakland, which is still Oakland. We had St. Bonaventure. In fact, Craig Shelton, the guy played at St. Bonaventure, he's from Baltimore. His father was a referee years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was the man for them. Roy Sparrow, of course, who played in the NBA. I didn't think he was that good, but of course, other teams thought he was. I mean, the thing is that with the guys from Baltimore, and I'll say this all around Baltimore, when we go play people, we always thought that we were better than the other player.
Yeah.
And that's the way we had to carry it. We had to have that swagger, that chip on our shoulder, because no, you're not gonna get the limelight. I'm gonna get the limelight.
Yeah.
So that's the way it was. I mean, but it was just some epic battles in college. I mean, I got a chance to travel all over, experience some different things. In fact, we were playing against Alabama Birmingham.
Okay.
And at the time, I don't know if you remember, Gene Bartow was a coach at UCLA, but he ended up going to Alabama Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And I was cooking them so bad that they had to put a 6'8" guy on me, right?
Yeah.
And then after the game, he said, "Son, you one hell of a player." And so that kind of like gave me the confidence, like, okay, well, this is a Hall of Fame coach telling me as a young guy that my ability, and then sky was the limit for me.
Right, man. Now at this Pitt starting to make Pitt, y'all names starting to come up now. People starting to recognize y'all as a basketball, as a as a good basketball program,
Hmm.
right? By the time you left Pitt, do you remember the guys that was coming in? Do you remember the transition? Because now, because by the time I got to college, like you said, you wanted to go to a football school that you wanted to turn into a basketball. You wanted to start something. And I'm pretty sure you did, because Pittsburgh went on, they always kept a point guard after that. Always kept
Right.
a solid
Right.
point guard. I
Right.
mean, they coaches changed a few times, but people look at Pittsburgh like that's a basketball school too now. So
Right. Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
how you feel about that?
I almost transferred to Vegas,
Woo.
right, my sophomore year, because my coach, as I told you before, Tim Gergridge, who was my coach at the time, my first 2 years, he left and went to Vegas with the coach with Jerry Tarkanian.
Mm-hmm.
So he came to my house and asked me if I wanted to transfer. But me being a guy that's want to be loyal to my teammates,
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I'll stay. And but it worked out for me. But unbeknownst to me, my coach Tim Gergridge always followed my career.
Okay.
This, that, and the other. In fact, I go up there, every time they have something up there, I try to go up there and support my teammates. But yeah, I mean, it was like, as when I was a senior, most of the guys were freshmen, so I still stay in contact with them.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
love.
yeah, I have one of my backcourt mates. He was playing ball in Israel, so he still lives in Israel. And I have another teammate who I talk to frequently. He lives in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
So of course, Sam Clancy came back to Pittsburgh. Now he's working in the athletic department. So I definitely talks to him on a regular basis.
Okay. Now, after Pitt, did you go and play any pro ball?
Well, I bounced around in CBA.
Okay. How was that? Talk to us
The
about that.
CBA back then wasn't, guys wasn't making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you was the 12th man, you had to go out and get a job.
Okay.
And so I got married end of my freshman year at Pitt, and I had 2 children.
Oh, okay.
So I had to make a decision whether or not if I wanted to continue playing or, just go ahead and say, well, get a job.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And so I bounced around the CBA for a couple of years. I didn't want to go overseas. Well, I did want to go overseas, but I didn't.
Right.
I was invited to go to the LA camp
Mm-hmm.
up there, but I declined to do so. It was just a whole lot of things going on in my head because I was like, well, I'm a father of 2.
Right.
I got to make a decision whether or not if I want to, leave my family in Pittsburgh or bring them back to Baltimore. So it was a lot of things. And then, like I said, I bounced on the CBA, and I just got discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that a lot of guys who made it at that time, because you got to remember back then there were 17 rounds.
Whoa, no, I ain't know that.
Yeah, it was 17 rounds back then when the NBA draft, and I was projected. From what I was told, I was projected as one of the best guards in the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, when I didn't hear my name called, I was like, really, kind of disappointed. Yeah, disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And then when I saw the guys that got drafted before me, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I used to tear the fur off this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And case in point, the guy he was a first rounder for the Philadelphia 76ers named Franklin Edwards.
Uh-huh.
And he played for Cleveland State. And I used to cook him all day, every day. And I'm saying to myself, how did he get drafted? You know what I mean? But it's being at the right place in the right time. I think that I had a pretty good career. And now, I coach. So I've been coaching for 20 years.
Don't think. You had a great career. You had a great career on all levels. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you.
Yeah, you can't. Don't poo-poo that. Please don't poo-poo that. Now,
right.
You were just about to go into the coaching. I want you to tell the people where you coaching at. You know what I'm saying? You got the platform right now. What you look if you even looking for some kids, talk to the people.
Oh, absolutely, all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it's a school with different criterias.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a portfolio. You have to do an audition. You also have to do an exam, whatever case may be. And I'm not saying that the kids can't do it.
Right.
But it's in Baltimore County. It's called Carver Tech, Carver Center for short. But it's George Washington Carver Arts and Technology.
Okay.
And it's a funny story because, when I got there, always people were telling me, man, you're not going to win there. You're not going to win. And I'm like, okay, well, I can, like I said, went to Pitt, build that program, help build that program. Now I got another, transition to build this program.
Right.
I've been there, going on my 14th year now.
Ooh.
It's located right behind the Five Guys off of York Road.
Okay.
Got great students, great kids. And to note, all my kids that play for me graduate and go to college.
That right there. There.
So yeah, so that's a blessing that I'm able to coach kids who, that want to listen, and believe me or not, they're not ball players because these kids, I'm gonna say they're not ball players. I mean, I'm saying that they want to be ball players, but they don't know the fine tune of what it takes to do the intangibles.
Right.
And what I try to teach them first and foremost that I don't think is being taught a lot is the fundamentals. Because the fundamentals will definitely, and with your talent, will definitely get you where you need to be. So having said that, I started out coaching in the city. I coached at Al Efert with him at Carver.
Okay.
As a JV coach, then his assistant. I went from there from the old Warble was called IBE. Went there with Miss Tina Queen.
Okay.
Right. Great AD. And then from there, went to Forest Park.
Okay.
Okay. And when I interviewed for the job at Carver, I guess I must have did a great job, but they hired me. Yeah. And I've been there ever since. Don't plan on going anywhere. I have a grandson who's definitely going to be a beast in high school. He plays 3 sports.
Okay. What sports do he play?
He plays basketball, football, and baseball.
Okay.
And he's going to be one heck of a player. If he does the things what he needs to do. So, with that being said, I also have another grandson who does the fencing.
Whoa.
He's pretty good in that. So the thing is that I love what I do. I'm committed to it. I was kind of sad that because of the pandemic that we wasn't able to play this year. Because I have one kid I thought that could play at least Division III, but it just didn't materialize. So I'm really looking forward to this coming year. And I would say this: whenever we played a team, because I'll play anybody. Okay. My first couple years I got there, we played Dunbar because that's something I wanted the guys to get experience. Okay. Right. But when teams come into Dunbar and they see all them banners, that's intimidating. Yes. But I wanted them to understand that in order for me to build a team, I got to play the top teams. Yeah. Right. And so I know nowadays that a lot of kids don't want to go to Dunbar. They want to play against Dunbar. Right. So if any kids want to come to my school, I welcome that. But the thing is, they must have their grades together. I can work with any kid. I think that it's all about the approach. Okay. All about the approach. You don't want to go. See, sometimes I think nowadays, kids want to stack a team up. Hey,
the parents want to stack a team up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But when a kid don't play, then the parents want to transfer him. Right. Right. And so I always tell kids like this: if you can play, and you've come to my school, you get all the 32 minutes you want. As long as you don't foul out. But you have to have a commitment, you have to have the discipline, and you have to have wherewithal in order to be coach. Yeah. Because I don't want nobody that can't coach. Talk to him. I definitely don't want nobody that can't coach. You know what I'm saying? I think I know the game pretty well. And you have to think the game because I can think what you're going to do before you do it.
Okay, now from a parent, they gonna say, all right, how you gonna help my son get into a school? Well,
first and foremost, you have to win. because winning cures everything. You know, if you, for instance, since I'm out in Baltimore County, right? If you beat the Delaney's, the Milford Mills, the Newtowns, because they're the schools that the scouts are coming to.
Right.
And so if you go out there and perform, even say for instance, even if you don't win, but if you go out there and perform, right, play team ball, there's a possibility you can get an opportunity to go to college. You know, obviously, yes, I'll do my part, but you have to do your part too.
Facts.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because what kids don't understand is that when scouts come to recruit you or looking at you, they want to see your body language. You know, they want to see, you know, are you coachable? You know, but more importantly, they want to know if you got grades to get into the university.
Facts. Now look, before we get up off of here, is there anything you like? Because this was fun, and I need you back on here. I need you back on here, right?
Okay.
I want to do a panel, right? I want to do a panel of the guys that played in the 70s and the early 80s. You know what I'm saying? It's something so y'all could come on here and y'all could just, you know, talk, bump stuff off each other. You know, a lot of times I did it with the football, and I'm gonna do it again once football season start. But you hear the coaches, it's like they ain't talked to each other in a while. Players ain't seen each other in a while, and it just, you know, we're a community. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely,
just try and tighten things up, because there's some kids out there that's gonna go through the same thing we went through. And my whole thing, I don't want kids to feel like they by themselves when they gotta make these decisions. Because a lot of times when we young, when we especially back then, we young, we making grown up decisions, and sometimes they ain't the right decision. Instead of just asking or just saying one thing, like, you know, you ain't by yourself. You know what I mean? Just like you was talking about, you was like being patient. Some kids think they go to college and think they supposed to play right away, and then no, I'm a transfer. Or they're not even using a rational. They're not even being rational about their decision. They feelings hurt because they not playing instead of just sticking around or talking to somebody that can explain how the next level work. You know, so yeah, that's hopefully that's what I want the kids to get out of this. Like, you ain't by yourself, because sometimes we make one decision and that carries on to a bunch of other bad decisions. So,
absolutely. I mean, the thing is that, and plus they got too many people in their ear. You know, I mean, tell them how great they are, this, that, and the other. And I was tell my kids, if you're gonna listen to them, go play for them. You know, and see where that gets you. Because the thing about it, right, you want to be able to surround yourself with some positive people. I'm not saying they're not positive, but everybody has their own agenda, right? And so with me, you know, my agenda is to nurture this young man and teach him how to be a young man to a man, because everybody's not going to make it an NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball, right? But if you have the opportunity to go to college, get your degree. And one note to that, I went to Pitt in 1978. I graduated in 1982 with a degree.
Yeah.
You know, so you know the thing, and I played in NCAA's my junior year and my senior year. Won a game. You know, we played against North Carolina. Thank God they didn't have Michael Jordan, but they had a lot of other pieces: James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Al Wood, Jimmy Black, Matt Doherty. So you know, real quick story. So we play in North Carolina in the 80-81 NCAA, right? And we're beating them 8-0.
Right.
Dean Smith calls a timeout. Talking about the ball was deflated.
What?
So basically, yes, he called a timeout, and we was like, oh no, we up in that butt, right? So long story short, they went on a 15-0 run. A 15-0 run, right? I mean, they were like picking, you know, because we played a 1-3-1, and that 1-3-1 we played, I've never seen anybody play it before.
Okay.
Right? And we also, it was called the amoeba defense, where you run and jump, right? I mean, we had a team, we were pretty much defensively. You know, I know a lot of guys probably saying, well, hot dog and never play no D. But when I got the Pitt, I had to play D in order for me to play. But it was a great experience, you know. like I tell any kid, you know, if you're able to go to the next level, enjoy it, because them 4 years will go real fast. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, have something to back you up on. That means get your education. You know, that is so crucial, you know, because education can get you in the door to any job you want. You know what I'm saying? With me, I chose to work with kids because that's my passion, because I wanted to come back to Baltimore to give something back that was given to me. You know, I've had some great coaches. I've had some great, you know, my brothers and my sisters, you know, I had great teachers, you know, and the teachers back then cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
different now. It's just,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
I'm not
mean,
gonna say they don't care, but it's just a whole difference in.
yeah, whole different. You know,
Yeah.
I remember when I was at City, and because I wanted dumb, I only needed one credit, right? But people, keep in mind, I always wanted to be a poet. So I had this one teacher who used to always get on me all the time. His name was Mr. Bubblers. And he was like, Wallace, nobody cares after your career's over, nobody cares about you.
Right.
It's mind over matter. And that stuck with me ever since 1977, 76, you know, that I had to do better than what I was doing. And I'm always thinking about what's the next move for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, bro, I mean, you know, it's great to be on your show. It's great to tell my story. That's not all my story, but you know, the thing is that you know, I really enjoyed the game of basketball. That's why I'm still coaching now at age 60. You know, I still love watching it. You know, in fact, my nephew played at Dunbar. You probably heard of a guy named Carolina.
No,
That's my nephew.
Carolina.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Devontae Wallace.
Okay, Devontae Wallace.
Right. That's my brother Stevie's son.
Okay, Devontae.
Right, right. And he played with he played for Coach Cyrus Jones.
Okay. All right. He played with Diego. I mean,
Diego. Yeah. Coached with him. Well, played for him. I'm sorry, played for him. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, anybody that's in my family that wants to go to Dunbar that can play, because I mean, you go down Dunbar, you gotta strap it up.
Yeah.
And more important, you got to represent the Wallace name.
Yeah.
So I just want to, you know, I just thank the guys before me, because I always got to pay homage to them. Because if it wasn't the Skip, the Dickies, you know, the Charlie Moores, the William Wells, the Bar Ways, you know, our list goes on and on and on. You know, there would never be myself, my brother, you know, my two younger brothers. You know, it always had a rich tradition in terms of basketball. And so the thing about it, when you go down to Dunbar and you see all them banners, you're like, okay, well, you know, this is what we play for.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, if I think that now I wish back then we could have played in the States, but at the time it was the MSA.
Now I like the MSA. I wish now when I came, we played in the States. Now, what I like about the MSA, everybody played each other.
Right. But you gotta understand this. So when you go when they developed the thing, I think it was in the early 90s for teams to get to the championship, which was down Cofield also at the time, then at Comcast Center.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing. That's a big thing because, you know, the Civic Center used to be a big thing.
Right.
But now that hasn't materialized, which they need to bring that back. They need to bring the 2-4 top teams in the city or whatever and send it down to the Civic Center.
Yeah.
Because you have more crowds. I mean, it's just so different now.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah, it's totally different. I feel like this. Maybe it's like that the city league is being forgotten about. I really do feel like that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, because and I don't know the reason why, but the thing is that you know, might be the facilities. You know, it could be a number of things. You know, I just think that there's some great ADs in the city. You know, that has visions, but they're limited.
Right.
You know, I'm just, like I said, I'm happy where I'm at. You know, it's a real wonderful, beautiful school. If you ever started school, you're like, wow, I know school is here. You know, we have a fantastic gym. You know, my thing is that I would tell my kids that play for me that I want to be able to put, you know, fill the stands up on both sides.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Phil stands on both sides because, you know, obviously when you have the support of the fans, that makes you play even better.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, I guess that pretty much as a ball player back then gave me the juice to really perform the way I perform.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew that people liked for a show.
That
And
crowd.
so I try to put on a show for them, you know, and hopefully they were satisfied when I played.
Already. Now look, we about to wrap this thing up. Again, Dwayne, I appreciate you, and like I said, you gotta come back you have to come back on the show.
Anytime you want me, brother. Anytime you want me.
You know, and if there's anything that you like to promote, if you need me to do it sometime, my door always open to you. You know, so listen, people, we coming live from Taz TV. We just now got finished with another banger interview, and we'll talk to you. Holla.